Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. And it is a celebratory night, boys. We have hit 1,000 subscribers.
Unbelievable. I didn't know we had.
Unbelievable, Jeff. Unbelievable, Jeff.
I didn't know we had so many friends and family. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, mate. I know. I had a big family, but they can only subscribe once, so they must have got the word out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Goes without saying, really, but I know we mention it every week, but we don't say it for any other reason than we genuinely are hugely appreciative of all the support we've had. So thanks to everyone, all the regulars watching, all the new subscribers. Obviously, getting this level of support means we can keep going and keep bringing Villa content. We even had 2 came out today, didn't we? I think was it 2? With this one and obviously the one this morning. So it's going to be
your little Bodymore bulletin earlier on this morning. So yeah, I think Michael is tuning in now. Michael Huggins, he was watching this morning. So yeah, man, it's amazing, like the support we're getting and the regular viewers, regular people joining. And I know last Sunday we did a bit of a fan. Well, looked at the start of our little bit of a fans forum, and Penno came on, and we got a Man City fan on, and I know Moley Boy is watching as well. He said he would have come on, so we will do those again. It's just amazing. So to hit 1,000 is just incredible. But we don't want to stop there. We want to keep going. We want to get to 2,000. So if it's your first time watching, or if you haven't subscribed yet, please do hit that subscribe button. And please do leave a like, as we always say, helps us grow the channel. Already got comments coming in. Supermark's got a hand pink waving. Excellent. Michael's got his thumbs up. Michael Parsons is in the house. Evening, everyone. Evening to you, mate. Thanks for joining. Donna is in. Hi. Duncan's in. Evening, Dunk. Moley Boy Gaming, as I said. Good evening. Good evening. Yeah. We made it. Thanks, Michael. Great for you for your support as well. Grateful for your support. I know you put a comment in there. I've starred it, so we'll talk about that a little bit later for you there, mate. Well done on hitting 1,000, lads. Thank you very much, Gary. Hi, guys and gals. Hi, Gary, and another one of our OGs. Thank you very much, mate. Hurrah. Duncan, well done on the 1K, lads. Penno, friend of the show, joined me last week. Congrats, guys, onto the next milestone. Belgian villain, 1K, more fans than Newcastle United. Rachel, evening. Yeah, evening, Rachel. Thanks very much. David said, well done, lads. Thank you. And says that we're the best podcast. Hey, that is amazing. Thank you so much for that.
Yes, and the most underrated. What a
illustrious company. So thanks very much. And Moley Boy, thank you, mate. Mark, who is responsible, as I always say, for our amazing thumbnails. And do you know what? I know he's a massive part of what makes us attract subscribers and attract viewers, because the thumbnails are great. I know you boys agree. So Mark does a tremendous job. We basically just message him, say, can you do this? And within like 5 minutes, it's done. So without you, mate, we wouldn't have got this far. So thank you very much.
Can I just say,
nice to see you.
Sorry, can I just say regarding Mark as well? Like sometimes it literally is like with absolutely no notice, we're going to put a pod out. I don't know what it could be mid like love making. He could be mid making a sandwich. But whatever he's doing, he stops immediately and gets a thumbnail to us. So appreciate that massively, Mark.
You're just giving me an image that I'm never gonna get rid of now. Sorry, love. Kev just messaged me. I need to do a thumbnail.
Kev, you need to hold up for a second there, buddy.
I'm unapologetic about that. I'm unapologetic about it. Sorry.
David just said he couldn't wait for a Kev monologue. And there you go. I think that one's topped it off. That's finished me.
Cheers, Mark. We appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Loki, he was on. I was just on a podcast before with an Arsenal fan, Rich, and he was on that. So thank you for joining us, mate. You're more than welcome. Thank you for coming on board. I don't think Mark's gonna get rid of that. I don't know where this episode's going, to be fair.
You don't get this on Claret and Blue, I say that.
You definitely don't. Yeah, you definitely don't. Anyway, thank you again. We can't thank you enough for the 1,000 subscribers. It's amazing. So thank you so much, people. But we have a small matter of a early kickoff on tomorrow, as in Saturday afternoon against Arsenal. Both teams, Martin, in a little bit of dodgy form here. So big game for both teams.
Yeah, it's more or less of a big game for Arsenal. Simply because they kind of let the wheels fall off the last few weeks, only picking up 1 point out of a possible 9. That's. Don't get me wrong, they've been absolutely fantastic for the last few weeks, and that little form has slipped, and now Man City has caught them. And they still have to play Man City again, as we know. And then for us, we had a bit of good run, went into the Leicester game with confidence, and I didn't think we were bad against Leicester. It was just kind of shaky defensively, and then against Man City, the first half, oh my God, that was abysmal. But the second half, I thought we were much better, much more organised, much more brave or getting to the ball, much more passing between the lines. And we won the second half 1-0, if you think about it. So it's definitely is a big game. And I think the way I'm looking at it, Arsenal's there for the taking, but this is typical Villa. Normally when the team is there for the taking, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And Arsenal's kind of the same. When a team's there for the taking, or a chance for them to kind of leapfrog or go further ahead away from somebody, that doesn't work out either. So it's a tricky game, and it's only interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, Kev, it's one of them, isn't it, where Martin's right. When we've got a chance of a team that's potentially there for the taking, we haven't yet done it. And also, but then also on the flip side, as I say, the channel that I was on before with the Arsenal fan, he tended to say that under Arteta, they've gone on these runs, where they've gone on really good runs and won quite a few games, but then they've also, when they've started losing games, it's not just 1 or 2 and then they turn it around. It can be 3 or 4 games where it's dodgy results. So, which Arsenal are we going to come up against essentially?
Well, I don't know, really. I mean, I remember thinking last time we had a 12:30 kickoff, I think it was actually against Arsenal when we did the pod. I think we lost 1-0 when, oh God, these 12:30 kickoffs, we're always terrible, it feels. And then someone gave me the stat that we'd won like 4 out of the last 5. So I think we're actually way better than, and maybe it's just some thought got in my mind that we're terrible for it. So I don't actually know. I mean, I think knowing like what Villa have been like traditionally, we always say you want a losing run or you're on a barren goal scoring run, play Villa. Martinelli's not scored for ages, so I might have a cheeky 5 on him to score at any time tomorrow because it would be crazy not to. But I do feel, without getting too carried away, I know I got a little bit cock-a-hoop about our chances against Man City. I just felt like the pressure might have been a lot on them after the week they'd had. And to be fair to Villa, second half, we did play a lot better, but the game was over, right? But Arsenal, both teams have got 7 points out of the last 5 games. Both teams are on a bad recent run. Obviously, we've lost. We've obviously lost a couple. They've obviously only got 1 point out of 9. So, and I feel for them, because they had such an unbelievable start to the season, like best ever start to the season, 50 points out of nowhere, really, compared to what they'd done last year and the year before. I thought at some point the wheels would come off slightly. Now, whether they can keep there and hang in there, I think they've got a great manager who's done a fantastic job, and they've got a really good squad of players, and they've got some good experience as well as obviously that youth, but there's a lot of inexperience at this level of football. There's no real title chase experience. Sure, one of them might have done it somewhere else, but really in the Premier League, that I can think of clearly. You've obviously got the guys that have been at Man City. That will help. One of them's injured. One of them's, obviously playing, but that is a huge thing that this Man City team have got in spades on them. And then you've got the momentum shift, and then you've got the quite convincing win the other night. So for Villa, under the Unai Emery era, when we've generally beaten hoodoos, this is a real chance to stamp our mark on being a proper side. The concern for Villa always is the inconsistency of the team, which is why we'll show our team sheets shortly.
Yeah.
Well, I think there'll be quite a few changes, but I don't know whether we're going to get a sort of an Arsenal team that are ready to show everyone that they mean business, or whether we're going to get an Arsenal team that, if they go a goal down away at Villa, crowd gets up, whether they crumble a little bit. So I really don't know.
Yeah, I kind of, I don't know. I can't remember who it was I was talking to earlier on in the week, but I felt that the worst result for Villa would have been a draw if that Arsenal would have got against City, because I'd have felt like that they thought that was a good result to take them into the Villa game. Whereas if they'd have won, it might have been a fact of all of the effort that they've put into getting that win against City. Then it's a little bit after the Lord Mayor's show, playing against Villa on a Saturday afternoon. Because they've lost, they're now in this kind of sticky situation where they've lost against Everton, they've drawn against Brentford, then they've lost against City, where they're kind of in this little bit of a rut. So they're either like a wounded animal that's going to come out fighting, or they're leggy, tired, in bad form, and coming up against their old manager who they sacked, who's back in the Premier League, and you've got that Unai Emery factor as well, boys. So it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, the other thing, Rich, is that obviously the Arsenal have got us, which I'd hope we want to respond after, a couple of disappointing results and performances for quite a bit to those games. Then they've got an Everton team who are, admittedly, they kind of lost Liverpool, but, you'd expect they'll be stronger and harder under Dyche. Man City have got Forest and Bournemouth. So you'd think that there's an opportunity here. City will win those two games, there's no doubt about it. If Arsenal drop some points at Villa, if they drop some points at Everton, then all of a sudden the momentum's really shifted, hasn't it? So they've got to basically beat two quite tough games. We'll find out with Everton soon. Two quite tough games, you'd hope. And Man City have got easy street really for two games.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a big factor. Thinking this is an absolute must win for Arsenal. I think with them away the momentum.
No, Arsenal got Leicester next weekend, mate. Leicester.
Oh, okay, maybe I've missed that.
Yeah.
Well, that's even worse.
Yeah, that's even tougher. Yeah.
2 4-0 wins in a row, and then Everton,
Yeah. So, no, it's definitely not easy for them. Definitely not. Got some comments coming in. Let's have a look. Michael said, hoping for Villa, hoping for a masterclass tomorrow. Already gone early with his prediction, 3-1 Villa. Molly Boy says, think we could take something tomorrow due to them being very ropey at the back. Hope Duran starts looking good in his cameo. We'll get to that. We will get to that. Michael says, fingers crossed. Gary said, we are the gift that keeps on giving for teams on bad runs. Just hope Mings is fit. You mentioned that as well, Martin, about that. Monopoly Chester City are going to win the league. Arsenal threw it away like a 5-year-old throws a tantrum. It does feel like that. Does start to feel like they're throwing it away. Always felt Arsenal would drop away, says Duncan. Great win for the Villa women. Yeah. I know you caught it, but if anyone's caught the Your Bodymore Bulletin, Kev, that is on there featuring the Villa women. First goal winner for me tomorrow.
What score did they win today? I'm not too sure. I haven't really seen anything, so.
Oh, no, this was from the other day. They won 6-2. Yeah.
Oh, yes, against Brighton, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I
just felt, obviously, you know how much, obviously, a big advocate of the Villa women's team, but, they've made some great signings, and that 6-2 win needed definitely some talking about.
Carla Ward as well, nominated for Manager of the Month again as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, great stuff. Low Key says, I'm coming tomorrow. Do I still need a passport? Joking. Villa Park is my favourite away ground. It is.
He's only saying that because he's here. I bet you he's saying that because he's here, and he probably goes to other podcasts and say, "Oh, Selhurst's my favourite. St James is my favourite."
No, he means it. He means it. Everyone loves Villa Park, don't they?
Everyone does.
Yeah.
Hope Duran starts. Yeah. Again, we'll come to that. I think he's a pretty popular choice. Having first to score, Mings to pass him the ball. Little bit of ball over the top, I would imagine there. Soupy Mark said, I'll still be jolly tomorrow. I'll still be fat, but it's the same thing. I don't know what's in the water tonight with people. David said, I'm not sure we can cope with Saka and Martinelli on the flanks. Just coming on to that, Martin, obviously some good players that Arsenal have got. Missing Jesus, who's been a big miss for them. But who would you say, and I think Thomas Partey is a doubt for them. Who are you kind of most concerned about from an Arsenal perspective?
Bit of a mad shout, but I'm concerned about Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they'd miss Jesus. Like, Jesus has scored, funny enough, the same amount as goals as Darwin Núñez. But Darwin Núñez is considered a flop. So if Darwin Núñez is a flop, I'm not calling Jesus a flop. I think he has been very good performance-wise, but he hasn't contributed to the level of goals which Arsenal fans would have hoped. Where Eddie Nketiah has been on form, and he's been brilliant whenever he's been called upon. I think if we don't watch him, I think we will struggle because once he gets service from the likes of Saka and Martinelli, Odegaard, he will finish it because I think he's brilliant. I really do, and he deserves his chance every one he gets. And if Jesus comes back, I think it's going to be really hard for Jesus to get back in ahead of Nketiah. Like, I don't think Jesus jumps straight into the team. I think it's going to take him a few weeks. If Nketiah drops form or anything like that, that's just the way I see it. I'm concerned about Eddie Nketiah.
I was going to say, I think the difference with Jesus is though is that his all-round game is better. His assists, he's got 5 goals and 6 assists. Jesus, so
that's what I mean though. Like, his all-round game is very good, but it's not. The contribution of it's 11-goal contribution, but Darwin Núñez is nearly have a 9-goal contribution. So it's not much difference in the two. So
I think there's an impact that Jesus had, like in terms of, instant impact where Arsenal are in the league and kind of what he's delivered. But I definitely take your point on Nketiah. He's that kind of fox in the box, isn't he? Like, if you give him a chance, he will snaffle it. Although he missed 2 great chances against Man City in the week. A lot of people saying Saka in the comments is the main threat. What about you? What about yourself? Would you say the same, Kev? Would you be worried about Saka? Or for me, Odegaard's the one for me.
Odegaard for me too, mate. Odegaard is, I think he's been the difference for them this season. I think Saka's actually brilliant. Saka's way better than I ever thought he was when he first came on the scene. I think he looks after the ball well. I think he's brave. He's actually stronger than you think he is, and he's a real handful. And he's proven that at an international level now. But Odegaard, the class and the quality that he's got, it's almost like the De Bruyne, isn't he? How he carries the ball, how he can see a pass. He's got some pretty crucial goals. So he's the thing for me. I tell you who else as well I've been super impressed with this season. It's been Xhaka.
Yeah, he's playing really well. Yeah.
And I think their biggest miss is Thomas Partey. Like, he is the spine. Him
absolutely.
and Xhaka together, they're the spine of that midfield, and that's part of the reason why they've been so successful this season. Once he's gone, they are so fragile in midfield. So he's a huge miss. I know he's a doubt going into this game, and I hope he's not there because it just gives us a bit of a sniff.
Yeah, no, I think he's a doubt, and he said he was going to be assessed, but it's a big ask for him to come into a game straight away. But yeah, if for me, he'd be a key player. We struggle. We saw it against Man City. A big central midfielder who's just like a linchpin, like a Partey or a Rodri. We just can't get near them. So yeah, if he does play, I think we really struggle in that midfield. If he doesn't, then I think we've got somewhat of a chance. So that's And Belgian Villa said the main threat is our own defence. Not a bad shout. Not a bad shout at all. Let's go to the teams then. In terms of starting line, because there's lots and lots of comments in about changes to the team, and that second half performance against City, some players that kind of came in and staked a claim for a spot in the side. So I'll go to yours, Martin, because I think yours is slightly more conservative. But yeah, talk me through your side here and what your thoughts are on that.
I just think Luca Digne now needs to be dropped because every time he started and Moreno's come on, Moreno has been more impactful. He's been more dangerous down them left flanks, getting the chances for the likes of Ollie Watkins, Bailey, or anybody who's on the edge of that box. I'm hoping Mings is fit, which is why I put him in new contract. I think he might have that, that new contract buzz and might have a man of the match performance. As we know, Emi Martinez keeps his place. It's a no-brainer. Konza and Young, I'm just trying to find the heart to put in Matty Cash at the moment because Young has still been very good. I know he probably wasn't great against Man City, but I don't think one game should be enough to warrant him a place on the bench. Buendia, Luiz, Kamara, Ramsey, I think that midfield picked itself just for the time being until a bit of form from Coutinho comes into play or McGinn. And then the only change I've made really is, two changes, one being Moreno, Duran to start up top. I thought Duran was really, really good against Man City. He done more in about 5 minutes than Bailey did in the 80. And if that volley went in, oh, just right defender behind him, just ties it and just spin and turn and shoot. If that had gone in,
Oh, it would have
I'd
been
have been
one of the goals
speechless.
of
It
the
was an
season.
absolutely brilliant effort. I've not seen Watkins do it, and I've not seen Bailey do it at all.
Yeah. No, I think I would probably make one or two more changes from that, but I understand why you've done that. Kev, you've maybe gone a little bit more.
Yeah.
Little bit more maverick, shall we say?
So yeah, let me talk you through this. So the first thing I've done is I've sent Bailey on loan to Basingstoke. First thing I've done. So he's gone now. He's gone out of the squad. Since you give me this power, I'm taking it. So he's out. Yeah, I mean, similar things, I think, in terms of the argument around Digne. I think we know that Digne's not been out the races at all. So Moreno's got to come in. He looked really good, I think, in that second half as well. It might be that City dropped off and therefore Digne would have had a bit of an easier ride himself in the second half. But Moreno's in. It means he's straight back in if he's fit. Chambers looked pretty shaky. I would put Cash in for Young because I think Young's got leggy lately. So that, for me, is just freshening it up a little bit with Cash coming back in. The changes for me are, I mean, I've obviously got Ramsey out, Bailey, Buendia as well. And am I missing someone else? I've taken out there. I can't remember who was in there before. But
he's playing in the Evo Stick Division 1 North, isn't he?
Yeah. I think Kamara Louise picks itself. I've gone for Coutinho over Buendia. Even though Buendia was obviously good against Leicester, he was non-existent against obviously the last game, Man City. And I tell you what, I think Coutinho was the best player on the pitch for like the last half an hour with everybody that was there. Admittedly, City might have dropped off, but I just think that he's looking like he's coming to a bit of a form. And this is a big game, and I think big game at home, give him a chance to see what he can do. And then Ramsey, well, I think Ramsey's been a bit anonymous. So I think McGinn, I think you need his experience. I think he was better under Emery before. Obviously, he was out for a bit with an injury. I'd have him in there to shore up that midfield. If Young's out as well, you need a bit more of experience in the team. And then it's what you're going to do up top. Well, I think Bailey's been, I think he's been abysmal.
We know your opinion of Bailey.
Yeah.
But I can't disagree with though, Kev. Like, I think many Villa fans will be the same. And I think most importantly, it might be that a breakout from the team does him a bit of good.
Yeah, but he's had enough breaks with injuries, hasn't he, and stuff. Look, I know I've made my opinions on Bailey pretty clear, but I just want to, just clarify the point. Look, we all want all our players to succeed, but I just think it's not just a confidence thing. I think it's a quality thing. I don't know whether the Bundesliga is, these goals he scored in the Bundesliga, was he doing that against Bayern and Dortmund? Because is the rest of it a pub league? I know that it's a bit of a basically a one-horse race because Dortmund end up selling their best players to Bayern eventually. But admittedly, it's a better league than Samatta coming from Belgium, right? I get all those arguments, but his quality is not great. His first touch is not great at all. I think he's a little bit of a baby in terms of how he deals with situations, whether I can even call him that. And he's unreliable. And I know wingers can be streaky. He doesn't look after the ball at all. His shooting's not great. Can we keep him in the team because he might bang one in the top corner? At the moment, for me, he's a liability. And if you have, we've said this many times in this pod, if you have a Buendia or a Phil on an off day, Digne goes missing, Ramsey goes missing, you're playing with 6-7 players. So Duran has done enough. The other thing with Duran is this, and Gabriel Bonlahawks came out and said that he thinks Gabriel's a bit of a weakness and Haaland obviously caused him trouble. And we saw that penalty that was nearly given, then VAR overruled it. Could you imagine Duran with his strength going up against the maybe slightly nervous Arsenal centre-back? I think he'd cause some real problems, Duran. So I just want to see him thrown in, under the opportunity of that Villa Park full crowd, and really make a name for himself because he's looking like he's rapid, he's looking like he's brave, he's looking like he's strong, he's looking like he's got quality on the ball. So let's see if we can get a new hero for the Villa fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got loads of comments coming in on our starting lineup. So David said Duran and Coutinho in, Bailey and Buendia out. Gary said Arsenal had a rebuild in the back, but we are always on a permanent rebuild, it seems. Yeah, agreed. Digne can't defend, says Duncan. Gary says please no Ramsey or Bailey. Yeah, I think we echo that. Moley Boy says mine will be Martinez, Cash, Cons and Mings, Moreno, Luis Kamara, Buendia and McGinn, Watkins and Duran. So Buendia keeps his spot in Moley's team.
That was my 50-50 one.
Over Coutinho. Rachel agrees. I think Young is tired at the moment, so his performance is dipping. Buendia is the creativity, says Duncan. However, is it a fact of Coutinho can provide that creativity? My thing with Buendia is that yes, he had a great game. Well, not a great game. He had a good game against Leicester. But my thing is we've talked about giving Buendia a shot of a consistent number of games in the team, and then we'll see the best of him. But we haven't seen the best of him, and he's been playing like pretty much every week, and he's not doing anything like in terms of massive productivity. So I actually agree that if Coutinho is able to put in 100% for 65 minutes, then give him the shirt and then swap him with Buendia.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Basingstoke sent him back, says David. Michael's got doing the Duran jokes. Let's save a prayer that Duran starts tomorrow. Gary said Duran needs to start after his cameos, and it's that surprise factor, isn't it, with Duran? Like, not many people know about him.
Yeah,
sorry.
I was going to say he's going to be hungry like the wolf, isn't he? To prove.
That's the second time that's been out. Yeah.
I'm going to use that one myself as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that Arsenal defence might come undone tomorrow at some point with him playing. So.
Belgian Villa says Martinez, Cash, Konsa, Mings, Moreno, Coutinho, McGinn, Louise, Kamara, Duran and Watkins, the same team as you, Kev. Bailey's first touch ends up in Basingstoke. Michael saying Bailey to score the winner off the bench. Well, I wouldn't mind that. Maybe it'll be one of his first touches.
Are you back for Villa or for Basingstoke?
Yeah. Gary says Coutinho looks ready, but still not to start for me. Bailey's unreal. Takes a defender on and tackles himself or runs into the defender he's just beaten. Yeah,
he does that too many times. Oh my god, that's criminal. Like.
Yeah. Just on that point though, it might be that he does come off the bench and maybe that's his opportunity. Then he has to prove himself.
Absolutely, of course, but I just don't think that he can. I don't think that he's deserving his place in the team at the moment, and he's just playing. He's just doing the same thing every game. Like, he's starting a game okay, and then just crumbling. So it's just not worth it. Gaza there says Bailey's too lightweight. Duran will put himself about a bit more, and we need that. We need a presence up front.
Yep.
Coutinho works best as an impact sub, says Rachel. But is that the same as
Buendia? I'm in agreement with Rachel there, because I think Coutinho does better when he knows what game he's coming into. So he knows what weaknesses are there and what's not there and what spaces to exploit. He's been better that way because he's watching the game. Where if you start the game, you kind of have to figure it out as you're going along. Where he's watching the game, he's watching, right, that fullback's not having a good game, I want to go on him, or this fullback's not having a good game, or there's too much of a hole here in the middle that he can exploit. He's watching the game and he knows what game he's going to come into, and that's why I probably wouldn't start him, because the last few weeks he knows what he wants to do when he comes on the pitch, because he's been watching the game.
Yeah.
So that's my point of view for Coutinho.
Yeah, I understand. Not a bad shout at all. It's just that, at some point he'll want to start. He's that type of player. He'll want to get involved in a start, and he's a big game player. What better way to kind of get? He's been edging forward. He kind of scored against Leicester. Obviously, it was disallowed. He then came on like Kev says and was brilliant against City. Is it now off the leash to kind of start against Arsenal? I don't know.
I think Buendia is nearly the same type of player. Like, for weeks we were calling him the star because he was coming on knowing what to do because he was watching the game. I think the two players are nearly similar in that way.
This is the disappointing thing for me about Buendia. Like, I'm yet to see the player that a lot of people see. I'm just yet to see it. I'm just, obviously we give Bailey, fair criticism, but I'm yet to see the hype around Buendia. He scored a goal against Tottenham, great, but what is he offering at the moment? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
He's a good highlight reel, doesn't he, Buendia?
He runs about. This is the same thing that Villa fans like. We love a player who runs around, but they
almost too busy at times.
Yeah, they don't do anything. Yeah. We love a player who runs around and tackles and boots the ball in the stand, but we don't actually value anyone who has got that craft about them or that can might be quiet in a game but does something that wins you the match.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see though. We'll see. Really random reviews says evening mate. Thank you for tuning in. Adam says he said about Bailey is the same about Coutinho offers nothing if he's not putting the ball in the net. Yeah, I think he's one of those players we've got to give the ball to though. Leon Bailey to Basingstoke. Here we go. Deal has fallen through due to Bailey's agent complaining that Basingstoke do not use wingers. A comment here from Random Reviews, Kev. We need to up the atmosphere at Villa Park, and this is one that we've been talking about for so long. 12:30 kickoff. Can we do it at Villa Park? Flags, chants, all sorts.
Look, it's not unique to Aston Villa. I think this is a Premier League problem, other than you get a few extreme examples of the crazed topless Newcastle fans on a winter's night. But I think this is across the board. Even some of the big teams, the atmosphere is absolutely dead. It can be a massive difference, and Emery himself has come out and said that he really wants the fans to support and they can be the 12th man. But I also do think that's down to the team and down to the players. And I think it's been good from the fast starts we've had in a lot of games this season at home. That's really helped the atmosphere. But when we see an inconsistency of touches being loose, of conceding silly goals, there is frustrations. Look how that Leicester game turned from being in the lead to all of a sudden being behind at half time. Now, you'd like to think the fans can be like, forget about that, let's get behind the team. But clearly, it rocks people too much. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I think I love the idea of it, and I want us to do it. But maybe there's been years of we've been starved of success for so long.
Yeah, it's hard. It's going to be hard, but I hope so. I hope the fans get a good start into the game. The players get a good start to the game and take the fans with them. T1's joining us. Thank you for joining us. Bailey is my countryman, but right now he irritates me to the fullest. Duran coming to eat his food, and once he starts, he will have to look at another club. Yeah. He's looking that way. Really random review said we're expecting our players to perform weekly at home, yet we hum and ah at them and make it nervy for everyone, which boosts the away team's spirit. It's mix and match because the Man United game was brilliant. The Brentford game was great. Leicester game was pretty good, to be honest. At times, it's just I don't know. It's that chicken and egg situation, isn't it, Martin? Is it the fans' responsibility to get the players up for it, or is it the players' responsibility to get the fans up for it? I don't know.
It's a bit of both. I don't think we can blame one or the other. I think it's a bit of both. It's up to the fans to motivate the players, but it's also up to the players to give something to the fans to make them motivate them. And that's where 2 and 2 have to play together. So it's a tricky one. And for Villa Park, for some reason, for years, and now apart from the game I was at there, the Friday night game where I thought the atmosphere was incredible.
The Leeds game, yeah.
But because it was probably under the lights, it was a Friday night, and it was everyone probably buzzing for the day. Where this is a 12:30 kickoff, it's a little bit different. Getting up early in the morning, probably after being up early all week for work, and then you're coming into a game against Arsenal, who I know they're in a bit of a slump, but still they're top of the league. Well, not top of the league, sorry, tied top of the league. We're in a bit of a slump, so it's going to be a tricky one. Where for some reason away games were a lot better. And our fans seem to be more joyous, more chants. Like when I was at the Palace game, when I went to Selhurst Park to watch them with the Eagle Eye football crowd, I was in the home end. But the Villa fans never stopped singing. I could hear the Villa fans more than the Palace fans.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, and it's probably not even just Villa, it's a lot of clubs where the away fans create better atmosphere than the home fans, which shouldn't really be happening. But unfortunately, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. AVFC Statos in the house. All right, lads. Hope all is well. We are great. Thank you. And congrats on 1K. Yeah, thank you so much, mate. And if you've got some random statistics for us, that would be great. And we will read them out. I'm going to go through the standard, the match stats, the head-to-head stats in a second. But any random stats for us, mate, that would be brilliant. And Really Random Reviews has also congratulated us on 1K. So thank you very much. And thanks for your support. Ken's agreeing with you, says Amen, Martin. So at least we've got one person agreeing with you, mate. More words on Bailey. Gary says Bailey's your typical winger. I'm guessing his numbers aren't much worse than most to lower mid-team wingers. I guess it's. I know we talk about Bailey so much, but it's when his dad said that he was the best player in Europe that I don't think set him up for greatness. To be honest, so yeah, that's where I think
parent
he
bias.
loses it.
Every
Yeah,
parent does.
he just needed to keep his mouth shut. To be honest, yeah. So we'll talk more. We don't want to keep talking on Bailey. Yeah, stats wise, boys, we'll go into head to heads. But while I'm just getting the screen up, guys, if you are new to the channel, we've got loads watching, which is fantastic. But if you are new, please drop us a like and please subscribe to the channel. As we've been saying today, we've hit 1,000 today, which is amazing. So thank you for everyone for your support. But yeah, if you could help us to continue to grow, that would be brilliant. Head to heads here.
Oh fuck.
55 total games played in the Premier League, 11 wins for Villa, 30 wins for Arsenal. We've won 5 at home. We've actually won more games away from home against Arsenal with 6. They've won 17 games at home and 13 games away, and there's been 14 draws. Before I go through like the recent meetings, Kev, talk to me about a couple of your favourite Villa Arsenal games.
Oh God, where do I start? There's the Dion Dublin one when he scored 2 goals in that great 3-2 win. What a game that was! I think we were 2 down as well. I absolutely loved one of my favourite Villa performances was that away win at the Emirates when we won 3-0 and Watkins scored a couple. That was that great break from Martinez, threw it out, Grealish, bomb down the left, bounced Bellerin off him, slid it into Watkins. Watkins smashed it in. Barkley was rolling back the years. It was just a great away performance at a good team. It's not that long ago that we actually talk about us being terrible against Arsenal, but I think we beat them that season also when Trezeguet scored at the back post.
That was the game that kept us up. That was actually the season before, but yeah. It was within a recent time period.
My 2 favorites would be when we bet them 3-1 with Benteke, Acuna, and Lahore, and then the one where we bet them 2-0 when we had the blue and the black.
Yeah.
When they were near forcing in the Emirates with Bon Lahore and John Carew, and I thought they were great games.
What about the one when Tony Moon scored? Yeah.
That was a great win. That was the most unexpected win I've ever known. But recent meetings, 2-1 earlier on this season at the Emirates. I think it was a 2-1 thrashing, to be honest. 1-0 last season, which was a bit of a damp squib. 3-1, which was in the middle of towards the end of Dean Smith's reign, and then the season before, beat them 1-0. And then we did the double over and beat them 1-0 and beat them 3-0, which was, like you said, Kev, one of the best performances. So, been a bit of a checkered past against Arsenal. We had a good run of games, particularly at the Emirates and at Highbury. But the last few games, they've definitely had the better over us. But recent form, basically the same. 2 wins, 1 draw and 2 defeats for both sides. Obviously, ours are back to back. But they haven't won for 3 games. So, they'll be they're on a bit of a rut at the moment, but we need to arrest those 2 defeats, because going into Everton away is going to be a tough ask. So, and then kind of all the season so far stats look like they're kind of in favour. 2 goals per game they score, only concede just under 1 goal per game, whereas we only really score just over 1 per game and then let in 1.5 goals per game. So, it's going to be a tough ask, but as I say, we can definitely take hope in the fact that Arsenal are a little bit off form, and the Unai Emery factor, and he has been good, Kev, at coaching teams for particular games to get results in particular games, and that's something that we can maybe hope for in this game.
Yeah, and I think he knows that Arsenal will have to go for it because they'll want to bounce back, won't they? From 1 point out of 3 games, including a bad loss at Arsenal. Sorry, at Everton. Sorry, obviously wasn't great. So he knows they're probably going to go for it. I'm pretty sure he'll try and nullify it. However, he has made quite a few points around us having more possession at home, and it's probably why home form's not been as good, because we've almost tried to take the game to people. Well, I expect Arsenal will take the game to us, so will that suit us? It's just whether they can absolutely blow us away with their quality, basically. But yeah, if anyone can do it, Unai Emery can do it with obviously his record. Look what he's done in cup competitions in the Europa League on one-off game situations. So he's an absolute master at that.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. AVFC Stato has delivered the goods. So here we go, people. Only against Liverpool, in which he got 5, has Ollie Watkins scored more Premier League goals against than he has against Arsenal. So he has 3 against Arsenal. So I think that echoes our kind of comments from the last game that he does score goals against the big teams. So yeah, let's
sounds
hope
a bit
for
like
that.
Didier Drogba.
Yeah,
scoring goals against big teams.
Yeah. Now, I thought this was AVFC Stato, but it's not. It's Belgian villain. He says Bailey's number 31. It's the same number of times he loses a ball each game. I thought that was an actual AVFC Stato stat.
Brilliant.
But no, this is an actual stat. Aston Villa have won 5 out of their last Premier League games that kicked off at 12:30 on a Saturday, keeping a clean sheet in 4 of those wins. So I know you mentioned that, Kev, but yeah, that's even better.
Yeah, I think it might have been Stato, that AVFC Stato, that corrected me when I said it on this pod about a year ago.
Oh, there you go.
These 12:30, terrible in these 12:30 kickoffs in the corner. I think
actually,
last 5. Yeah, so yeah.
Ken says sort out your super chat. Ken, we are in the process of, obviously we just hit 1,000 today. So I'm just in the process of kind of getting everything signed off by YouTube. So hopefully in the next few weeks we will be able to open up that facility for you guys to be able to support us with super chats, whatever it is that we can do to help us bring this content. But yeah, thank you very much. And as I said before, we're so grateful for everyone's support. Anyway, it's amazing, and we just like doing it. So yeah, absolutely. Well, what are we looking at here? Rachel said it's not looking good at all in terms of the statistics. Molly Boy said when Gabby scored, the first game of the season was a good one. 3-0 Villa 2021 season was incredible. 1-0 Villa at home, that kept us up. Yeah. Really random review said Unai said in his interview, Man City and Arsenal are just better than us right now, but there are spaces and moments where we can hurt them and frustrate them. I think we could get a win here. It doesn't feel that long since we won, but it's a fair few games. Mark's got a stat of his own. Villa are the only side to come back from 2-0 down in the Premier League when a Santa has landed on the roof. Yeah, very, very, very good stat there. Very good stat. There'll be moments, and we need to have more control. Absolutely. What are you guys on about? Our best performance was earlier once this season when we lost 2-1 at Arsenal. That was not a great performance at all. Villa manages to beat Arsenal in the Premier League. Ron Atkinson 3, John Gregory 2, Martin O'Neill 1, Gerard Houllier 1, Paul Lambert 1, and Dean Smith with 3.
Dino,
there we go.
That's a really interesting stat.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was it. This is what I think about us with Arsenal Villa, is that they were always absolutely like dicking us all the time. And then there was that spell where I felt like, that 3-0 win, it was all Villa. It could have been 5 or 6. And this was away at the Emirates, and we were in a situation where we were a team that were not long been promoted. And it just felt like the dynamic had shifted. Then we beat him in that 1-0 game, obviously, when we needed to win at home. Then obviously,
that was probably a game when there was no fans, wasn't there? Like that was
Yeah. Then we beat him when Watkins got that. Well, he obviously got 2 in the way when he got that 1-0 win with Watkins. I think it was a deflected goal. We got from Traore, actually, who might be back in the squad tomorrow. And then Watkins scored. I think he did like an outside of the foot pass, Traore, sort of first time his left foot, and Watkins scored. And it felt like all of a sudden the dynamic had shifted, and we had almost the hoodoo over Arsenal. Sure, they've addressed that a little bit recently, but I don't feel like they've strengthened that much in recent seasons.
No, they've just got a better system of play, haven't they? And they've got used to Arteta more. Question here for you, Martin. Emery's former club. Will Arsenal fans give him stick?
Of course they will. This is Arsenal fans. They will give every stick possible, but can't seem to take it. They're going to go, good evening, do whatever. Like two of my mates, they're Arsenal fans. And when they win, they do not shut the fuck up. Like they don't. They just keep going and going and going and going with anything, whether it's the Man United fans, Liverpool fans, Chelsea, any football fan. But you see when they lose, hiding. There's no in between with Arsenal fans. They're either in your face or they're hiding because you know you're going to get them for all the stick they give. They're going to give Emery every bit of stick imaginable. And if they lose,
wouldn't expect
watch
anything
them
less,
all
to be
hide.
fair.
Watch them all
Yeah.
hide.
Yeah, it'd be great if obviously great for Emery, great for us, obviously. Another stat from AVFC stat: last time we beat Arsenal at Villa Park with fans in the stadium was 1998.
Don't give us that one.
We've got to turn it around tomorrow. We've got to. I'll get your score predictions in a second, boys. But yeah, everyone else, please pop in the chat. I know Michael mentioned 3-1 win for Villa, so he's feeling very confident. Before we get your predictions as well, Michael wanted to tell us to give us a shout out to a young man named Nairi, who will be going to his first game at Villa Park tomorrow with his grandmother Donna. He's a big Villa fan and super excited. So I hope you have a great time, mate. And hopefully we get the win on your first game at Villa Park. And what a game to have got it in. So
have a good
one.
one.
I hope you have a good one. So yeah, actually, before we get the score predictions, Mings signing a new contract today. I tweeted out saying, he's the record that we've got when he's not in the team highlights the importance that he is to us. Got to be good news, Kev. Mings signing new contract extension.
Yeah, do you know what? I think it's fantastic news. Again, he's been a bit maligned this time at Villa, but I think we've seen with our recent history when he's not played, we look a much, much weaker team. Whatever you think of Mings, and is he a bit languid at times? Has he got a mistake in him? Well, I think he's been absolutely critical for us. And he's, there was times people were saying, Chad, have Chambers in ahead of Mings. And, Mings had not been quite at the races. But clearly for me now, he's that heartbeat of that defence. And I think taking the captaincy off him has been good for his performances. And Martinez, hopefully, he's keeping that shirt for a bit longer. But he's strong, he's powerful, he's committed, he puts his heart on the line. And what is he, 30 now? Takes him to probably 33. He started his career a bit later, didn't he, Mings? So maybe you get a little bit more battery life out of him. But I think it's just good news for the club. So yeah, I'm really happy with that decision.
Yeah, definitely. What we've got here. So AVFC status says 1-1, a cagey game. Really random reviews says on Unai the Hoodoo Master 3-1 Villa win. Rachel's going 3-1 Arsenal. Why do we have Villa stats? They're so depressing. Molly Boy Gaming says, honestly, I think we could take it. An Unai Masterclass 2-0 Villa win. Durant to score on his full debut. Jam Jack's got our slogan. We all follow the Villa. Thank you very much. Belgian Villain says, my head says 3-0 Arsenal. My heart says 3-1 Arsenal. And my Achilles say 4-0 Villa. But my Achilles are anything like Carlos's, I doubt it. Decent one. Gaza says 2-0 Arsenal. And Jamjack said 1-1. David Bowden says hard to predict a score. If Emery keeps the same starting 11, then it's likely a loss. In with a shout if there are changes. And Duncan says 2-1 Villa. Martin, I'll come to you first. What are you saying, mate?
1-1.
1-1. Who's scoring?
Ollie Watkins. I think he's been in good form. I can't really look at anybody else. I think Duran will do very well. I think other players will do well. I think it'll be 1-1. I can't see a win.
Fair. That's fair. Kev?
3-2 Villa.
Oh, what a game.
Yeah. I
Bailey hat trick?
Bailey. Yeah. No. I've just actually seen a tweet pop up. The Bailey's rocked up in Kilmarnock. He was aiming for Basingstoke, but he went the wrong way. Way. Sorry. That's such an easy gag. I don't know. I just feel like Villa are going to put a bit of a better performance in, and I feel like we always start well at home and seem to get early goals. If Arsenal respond, then we've had goals lately at Villa Park, haven't we? So I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a Villa win. I think Duran's going to score. I think Watkins is going to score, and I think McGinn's going to score. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to get a 30-yard pile driver, McGinn, like the old day.
Love it. A couple of little questions coming in, comments. Gary, I know you covered this a little bit on the Bodymore Bulletin episode, Kev, but what are our thoughts on the Portuguese team Vitória Guimarães deal and thinking about players going out on loan there? And there's talk of us already doing a deal with one of their players to come to the Villa, although we might
the
send him
Italian
back out
centre
on
back,
loan.
Bremiam Bamba or something like
that. Yeah.
Italian lad. Apparently he's meant to be very good. To be honest, I haven't got a clue about him. It was the same
mate.
as Duran, so it could be another surprise.
Yeah. Someone said that apparently, like, I don't know, player who watches someone on Twitter, obviously, who knows, but put a bit of a compilation together of him saying that, he was good enough to play in the Premier League, sort of top 7 or 8 clubs. So, we might have pulled off a little bit of a coup there in signing him, but very young player, 20 years old, and might be one that we keep out there for another season. But Kev, good to see us doing these kind of deals, and there's potential of other clubs that we might be linking up with in other countries as well.
Yeah, well, obviously I mentioned this in the bottom of my bulletin earlier, but look at what Man City have done with all their links around the world. It just means, the opportunity to get that global talent in is a bit easier, and obviously you can potentially get around some of the rules. But also, we've seen some benefit, obviously, particularly recently with the better quality coming through our youth system. For, we know the saleability you've got of an Archer now and a Davis, but would you rather be sending your Louis Barry, well, particularly for Louis Barry, would you rather go to Portugal or like Milton Keynes,
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not going to solve all our problems, but I just think it's another example of A, for me, that the owners do mean business because they wouldn't be doing this kind of thing otherwise, and B, that we're becoming more of a global brand as an overall group, aren't we? And obviously, Villa is the head of that, isn't it? So, yeah, it's all good news, and obviously we've got the one in Egypt. If we can get the next Salah from ZFC, if we can get the next Ronaldo from Vitória, if we can get the next. I mean, Senegal, we've got an academy in Senegal.
Yeah.
So there's just links everywhere, and obviously, I don't know if everyone else has been doing it, but keeping an eye on some of the Vitória shirts are quite nice. I love more than anything else. It's all these new fans. The Villa fans are following Vitória following Villa. I already now hate Braga for no reason other than the fact that Vitória hate Braga.
The Braga downfall. We're all for the Braga downfall.
Anti-Braga. Yeah. Braga are shit now, apparently. So, yeah. It's funny, isn't it, how you can kind of get on that train. So, I don't see any bad news with it at all, really.
Yeah. Absolutely. And look, if it's a pre-season trip to Portugal to play Vitória Guimarães, I'm all for it. I'm all over it. But apparently that's Bailey's next loan club, according to Belgian Villain. A lot of talk in the chat about Martinez. I think you've covered this as well, Kev. I'm with you, mate. I'm not too worried about it, and I think we hold all the cards. If he's to go, we get a good price for him, and we get another good keeper in. If he's staying, then obviously we benefit from that as well, and he'll obviously hopefully take us to the heights of European football. So look. I think we hold all the cards in that transaction, mate.
Yeah, I totally agree. Again, I've been quite cool about this whole situation for ages. Really, I love Emery. I think he's a great character. He's proven his class. Obviously, came from Arsenal, wanted to make a name for himself at 28. Felt like he wasn't given that respect because obviously Leno got the shirt back after he had a great end to the season, won the FA Cup, came to Villa, and he's obviously won the World Cup, and he's been a real great presence for us as a team. But I do think sometimes the way Emery wants to play, that potentially he might want a keeper who's better with the ball at the feet, and and that's just I think something that if you've got an opportunity to get. Look, I had a Twitter situation with someone saying I didn't understand the goalkeeping market, and I came back with, well, Kepa Arrizabalaga went for 80 million, so I think there's an argument to say 100 million. Might be a crazy figure, but you could start that amount. If you ended up getting a substantial figure pushing above 50 million for Martinez, I think you could replace him for a fraction of the cost and you'd have a bit of change left over. So I don't know what the FFP considerations are, whether they take the opportunity, but put Villa to one side, he's probably going to want to test himself now against the best teams in the world. And, we're in a strong position that we don't need to sell. So if you want to buy him and you've got some deep pockets elsewhere, it might be that it actually might be Premier League rather than abroad that can afford to pay the money that we might want for it. So it should be an interesting time. And then would he then go to a Chelsea or a Man United, for example, because, would he want to do that? So, yeah, it's a good position for us.
Exactly. Well, tomorrow's game, I am going to go for 2-2. I'm going to say Desmond. I don't think we'll quite get the win, but I think we will get a decent, solid result to take us into that Everton game. So, yeah.
Who's going to score?
Lads, who's going to score? Sorry, I'm going to go Watkins again. I think he's on a good run of goals, and I think Duran will get his first goal for Villa, which would be brilliant.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah, that's what I'm going to go for. Once again, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We've had some great numbers watching and some amazing comments. And yeah, I keep talking about it, but to hit 1,000 subscribers today has made my day. Absolutely made my day before the game tomorrow. So yeah, thank you all so much for the support. I'm sure you boys echo that again as well, don't you?
100%. Thanks so much.
Yeah, great stuff. So yeah, as I say, if you are watching and you're new to the channel, please drop a like. Please do subscribe to the channel. Help us get to that next milestone of 2K, and I'm sure we will do. We will be doing a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So we're just getting our heads together on what to do. But please keep an eye out, and yeah, we'll get everyone involved in our giveaway. And Kev, he got his prize today that we did for, I think it was for 750, wasn't it? That we did.
Not me. Not me.
Yeah. Big Kev got his prize. Yeah. So yeah, he got his prize. So we will be doing another giveaway at some point. Someone says, "Don't let the fame go to our heads." There we go. Gary said, "Don't let the fame go to your heads." Don't worry, Gary.
Don't worry, Gary. I've only handed in my notice to work.
Yeah, we've already handed the notices in.
I'm getting our new house in Las Vegas. I haven't done anything too crazy.
Autographs, autographs later on. But yeah, as I say, guys, thank you so much for your support, and hopefully we get the result tomorrow. I'm sure we'll do a reaction show over the course of the weekend. I'm sure we'll be back with a talking tactics show with Gareth as well, and more Body More Bulletin shows across next week. But lads, thank you so much, and as always, please all remember, you'll follow the Villa. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you.